Imagine for a moment that there exists a practice so ancient, so powerful, that the world worked hard to keep it a secret. Not because it was useless, but because its effects were real and profound. It's like thinking of a mysterious key, buried under centuries of dust, with the power to unlock the most sacred treasure, the memory of who you truly are. This isn't about learning something new. Instead, it's about gently removing everything that has kept you from your true self. The greatest trick played on us wasn't making us forget, but convincing us we were someone entirely different. What if, today, you suddenly remembered your real purpose? What if, instead of searching for answers outside, you heard a voice deep within you? A voice that has always been there, patiently waiting. What if this voice could finally be awakened by an age-old method once reserved only for trusted initiates, guarded carefully to keep it away from those who would misuse its power? This video isn't just a narrative, it's an open invitation. It's a guide to a once forbidden act, not because it brings darkness, but because its light is too strong. Throughout history, the powerful have always preferred a world of unawakened souls to an army that's truly awake. Right now, we're going to travel to the very roots of this practice, exploring the lost origins, the wisdom traditions where it started, and why it was hidden, twisted, or even ridiculed by the very systems that wanted to keep humanity comfortable inside the walls of forgetfulness. You'll discover how you can use it yourself to recall who you are, beyond names, stories, roles, and beyond anything you could be told. Where your true self vibrates as pure, eternal awareness. With legends, symbols, and the lessons of long-gone sages, we'll make sense of deep spiritual ideas and return to the heart of what really matters. This isn't theory. It's something to feel and remember, not just hear. Because real transformation doesn't come from memorizing, but from a true inward experience. If you're willing not just to listen, but to sense, to open your heart, and to remember, this journey could be the key you've been seeking. Just because something is labeled forbidden doesn't mean it's dangerous. Sometimes, it's simply because the truth hidden within is too powerful to share openly. In every ancient culture, there's a whisper across time. The belief that humans have forgotten their real nature, that life is like a dream, and that there are special paths and techniques to wake that memory up. But here's the twist. These paths weren't written down in history books or taught in classrooms. They were hidden, banned, twisted into superstitions, mocked, and locked away, kept safe so nobody could misuse their real power. Take, for instance, the ancient Egyptians. Inside secret temples, the priests held sacred ceremonies of initiation. Some novices lay peaceful for hours, their bodies still, while masters led their spirits on mysterious journeys beyond the physical world. When they returned, they were transformed. They had experienced something powerful, piercing through the illusion and awakening to their true memory. In Greece, schools like the Orphics taught that the soul was caught in the body not as a curse, but as a way to grow and purify the self. With chants, breathwork, and trance, they helped the soul escape its labels, even if just for moments, to remember its divine source. A memory so potent that it changed a person forever. Journey to ancient India, and the rishis spoke of the art of remembrance, smirana. Their wisdom didn't define spiritual ignorance as a lack of facts, but as a disconnect from what's inside. They believed you return to truth not by learning more, but by unlearning what's false. Letting go, being still, and treating the soul's real voice as your compass. All across the world, these traditions agreed. The answer was not outside. but within. The form changed from place to place, but the essence was always about remembering the pure spirit hidden beneath layers of falsehood. Eventually, shadows crept in. Spiritual battles arose. Religions turned personal paths into rigid traditions, and those in power started controlling what was once free for seekers. What used to be living, breathing remembrance became dogma, empty ritual, or forbidden teaching. Symbols and stories replaced real experience, and the original wisdom was called risky. But risky for whom? Those who gain from forgetfulness fear what happens when a soul wakes up, because awakening means freedom. Yet today, this secret is rising again, not as a trend or new teaching, but as something familiar stirring in those who are open to it. The wonderful thing is that the technique people call forbidden isn't new at all. It's part of you, always waiting to be uncovered, deep in your own consciousness. To truly understand how this works, remember, the soul doesn't need to find new knowledge. It just needs to recall what's always been true. And that kind of memory isn't about thought, but about a very real, living energy, a frequency. When this frequency awakens, all pretense falls away, and the genuine self steps into the light. So how do you tune into that frequency? The real method is not an elaborate set of words or outside rituals. It's a journey inward. It's about lining up your body, thoughts, energy, and awareness so that, like striking the right chord, your original soul resonance returns as an experience you can feel, not just an idea. Imagine that your inner self is like a perfect song, but time has covered it with noise, opinions, beliefs, trauma, fear. This practice is like a skillful musician tuning their instrument, clearing away each false note until your true song rings clear once more. The technique itself moves through 3 main stages, and while they can overlap, each is necessary. The first stage is letting go of the false self. This is the hardest part. The task of noticing which thoughts or fears are actually not yours. Start listening deeply. What are you thinking, craving, or dreading? And then truly wonder, is this really me, or was it placed on me by others? The goal isn't to fight your mind, but to see clearly. Once you recognize what's untrue, your authentic self has the power to dissolve it. The next stage is awakening your inner sense. As the mental noise clears, something subtle starts to surface. A direct way of noticing, sharper and quieter than emotion or logic. This inner awareness doesn't wake by force. Instead, it stirs gently as you listen. Breathe mindfully, do silent rituals, and picture meaningful images. Here's the secret. Whatever you focus on with sincerity, your soul treats as real. This is not simple fantasy. It's a bridge to ancient memory. Images like flames, blooming hearts, or shining mirrors aren't just symbols. They are universal keys that bring forgotten parts of you alive. Done with the right attention, these visions don't invent stories, but unlock real experiences. The third stage is tuning to your soul's true note. Every deep tradition says each soul has a silent name, a unique pulse only it recognizes. Speaking this isn't about words, but about living in the soul's energy until you sense it. A private doorway opening in the silence, a memory felt more than understood. Suddenly it dawns. This is my essence. I've never been anything else. This isn't instant and easy. It asks for honesty, courage, and patience. Yet once it begins, nothing stops the momentum. Part of you starts to watch from a place beyond the old patterns, and from here the real journey unfolds. As this practice deepens and layers of the manufactured self weaken, something wonderful happens. Memory returns without thinking. It's like entering a room you've always had keys to but never opened. What greets you aren't just thoughts, but lost pieces of yourself. The side that loves selflessly, trusts without fear, and knows wisdom you never learned. Yet there's an honest warning. Rediscovery isn't only about light. You'll see not just your best, but also your wounds, your mistakes, your hidden pain. This is necessary. It isn't about punishment, but about freedom. You can't embrace your soul without meeting all of it. Many teachings say this is why the real method is risky for beginners. Looking at the soul truthfully needs maturity, not found in years, but in willingness to see things as they are. Those who move far enough with this practice often enter a special state, not a hypnotic trance, but a clearer, expanded awareness. You sense your body, but can see your whole life from a quiet distance. You still think, but thoughts no longer rule. It's as if you step back and watch your world as the real you. From here, everything deepens. Emotions clarify, perspectives widen, time loses its tight grip, and flashes of intuition or even memories from other lives sometimes appear. Knowledge you carry without studying. At this depth, practice becomes daily life. Masks fall away, choices get clearer, and living becomes more peaceful and whole. And here's a secret. The soul doesn't learn who it is. It simply remembers. Memory isn't just a collection of pictures, but a strong, comforting presence. The sense of coming home. When this occurs, life doesn't suddenly become perfect, but something inside wakes that will never sleep again. That's why the powerful always called this path forbidden. Not for your harm, but because it threatened their control. True awakening isn't a single moment. It's ongoing. Even the brightest inner discovery does not stay forever unless it's cultivated. This method is not just about spiritual highs, but about using it in daily life. Making habits sacred, turning ordinary moments into ritual, and allowing the mystery to shape every day. There are a few ways to nurture this. First, create moments of living silence. Real remembering blooms in quiet, not just soundless rooms, but in focused presence with yourself. Every day, even for a few minutes, pause. Expect nothing. Just breathe, notice, and allow. This isn't just rest, but a sanctuary for your truest voice to come through. Second, treat everything as a meaningful act. Everyday actions, from eating to walking, become sacred if done from the heart's center. When you move from remembrance, each gesture matters. Ask yourself, am I acting from my soul or from an old mask? When you show up as your real self, even small moments become holy, and every memory stays alive. Third, pay close attention to what fills your mind. The soul never truly forgets, but the mind can cover up the truth with endless distractions. What do you watch, listen to, or talk about? Every bit shapes your inner world. Care for your senses like a precious fire. Clean up your space, your media, your conversations. This tends the vibration where true memory appears. Then, practice speaking less, but deeper. Don't repeat what others say or talk just to fill silence. Whenever you use your voice, let it come from that inner place. When you speak from remembered truth, your words help others wake up too. Make your voice a tool for resonance, not just information. Finally, start living as though you already remember, even if you doubt at first. Act as if you are who you've always truly been. Not pretending, but tuning in. The soul reveals itself to those who act in line with their deepest truth, long before they fully understand. Walk with the dignity of an ancient legacy. Love with the trust of centuries. And remember, the answer is not in searching, but in vibrating with what's real. For years we've heard that awakening is difficult, that knowing yourself is only for the chosen few. But the hidden truth is simple, direct, and closer than it seems. That message, more than anything, threatens those who want humanity to stay lost. This path isn't a list of ideas. It's an invitation for those who sense another way. There's more to life than just the labels and roles you were handed. You are not that. You never were. You're a spark of consciousness, a unique note in an eternal song, with an ancient memory draped in today's form. All of us have forgotten, but all of us can remember. The real secret is this: you already have what you need. The practice isn't a product, nor is it locked away by any one teacher. It's the remembering of something primal, something alive within you. You don't need to seek outside yourself. You don't need to wait for perfection or approval. Just come back to your center and let the noise fade, allowing your wise, ancient soul to show you what it's always known. When you remember your true self, your thinking shifts, but so does your entire view of the world. Enemies look like mirrors. Fear dissolves into trust. Old stories break, and new truths emerge. You lose the need for outside approval because you're connected to something far greater. Questions stop mattering because your own quietness is enough. You stop chasing love because you realize on the deepest level that you are love. This is not an empty promise. It is an open door. To walk this road takes courage. The soul's way is beautiful, but not always gentle. It removes everything false and brings you face to face with your hidden self until you finally choose your real identity. If this message speaks to you, if it stirs something true inside, don't let your mind dismiss the feeling. Subscribe to this channel. If this video reaches you, hit like and share with someone who might need to remember too. The greatest change happens quietly, when even a few souls awaken. No force, no dogma, just a world restored by remembrance, from inside out. You're not here to learn, you're here to remember, and your remembering has already begun.